Good afternoon, everybody, and happy Monday. It is time for another episode of Mark's Monday Minutes in Portland Real Estate. It is Monday, July 24th. It is almost our last Monday in July. We have one more sneaking in there next week, but this is almost the end of July. Wanted to take a moment here to give my top 3 points of the day. All of them revolve around normalcy. You've been hearing that the last couple weeks. Normalcy, and we're going to talk about average and median and what that means to you. Those 3 points. It is normal that homes will take a slightly longer to sell. In fact, up to 4 to 6 months. We're not anywhere near close, but 4 months maybe in our future. 2, normal that homes sell at asking price. And number 3, both buyers and sellers have to be aware that we are at this normal, which is similar where we were back in 2018. Allow me to explain. Let's start with the number of active listings. Right now in Portland metropolitan area, we are up to 4,063. This is just slightly up 54 homes from last week at 4,007. So we're just finally up at that 4,000 point. I expect that this will be our peak here, as I said, by the end of July. Yep, we're right there. From here on out, it should slowly decline. The number of new listings this week down to 548, down from 621 last week. And the number of pending homes almost identical. 492 homes have gone pending in the last 7 days compared to 493 the week before that. So absolutely normal, typical for what you expect. Buyers have adjusted to 7% interest rates and they're buying because they're ready to buy a home. Now, the number of sold homes in the last week, these were homes that went under contract 30 days ago, 403, perfectly normal. Interesting, the number of homes with a price adjustment, as we see the peak of homes on the market, so should we start to see a slight uptick and a leveling off of the homes with a price adjustment. We just crossed the 27% threshold in Portland. Contrast this with a national threshold that's sitting around 34%. We're still well ahead of the curve, if you will. That's a significant number in terms of the number of homes in the national market being for sale. Number of homes coming soon in the next 3 weeks, 47. We've held at this level of 46, 47, 43. We've been in the 40s now for 5 weeks in a row. So this is absolutely what to be expected. It's a good indicator that homes will still be coming to market. And finally, the number of sold homes in the last 30 days, 1,657. Sitting right there gives us a supply of homes based on the number of sales and the available inventory of just under 2.5 months, 2.45 in fact. We've been sitting at this mid 2 month level rather, for the last 1, 2, 3 weeks, and we were down in the low 2s at 2.1 and 2.2 for the 2 weeks before then. So we're just still sitting here about 2.25 to 2.5 months of inventory. Now again, compare this to normal, which we would say 4 to 6 months worth of inventory. So still stacked in favor of the sellers. But don't get too cocky, sellers, because I think buyers have taken some time away and they're willing to be reasonable, if so are sellers. Now, let's get into the 4-car garage homes. The number of active listings with a 4-car garage or larger, 124, of which 39 are under $1 million, those affordable 4-car garage homes that we talk about. Now, the number of new homes this week with a 4-car garage, 15, 9 of which were under $1 million. The number of pending homes, 10, of which 5 were under $1 million. And the number of sold homes in the last week, 5, 2 of which were under $1 million. This has given us a total of 26 homes with a 4-car garage or larger that have sold in the last month, with 12 of them, in fact, being under $1 million. That's a little bit larger number than we've been seeing percentage-wise. That's good. We're typically seeing about a 4.2 month supply of just these large garage homes, but a home with a 4-car garage is usually a multi-million-dollar home. The key is finding them under $1 million, which is where my specialty comes in. For those that are under $1 million, we're at 2.2 months worth of inventory, less than the overall inventory for just homes in general. Now, as we talk about those 3 takeaways, normal. It is normal that homes will take, in a balanced market, 4 to 6 months worth of inventory, 4 to 6 months worth of time to sell. We are currently sitting where what we have is, and this is where that aspect of median and average come into play. Now, we have an average day on market is 35. However, the median days on market is 10 days. Well, what does that mean? Aren't they the same? No, they're actually different. Median is you take the entire span of homes that have sold at day 1 all the way out to day 365 or greater. And the median is just right in the middle. The average is if you stack them all together, you average all those dates together and then divide by the total number that have sold. Now, what has happened in this case is our median is 10 days. What does that mean? That middle point, the majority, based on the number of homes, where that arithmetic mean is, we have a huge number of homes that have sold in the first weekend that slopes down and then creates this long tail. So as a result, the median appears to be 10 days, right when you have this sharp curve, which right now we're seeing 24% of homes sell in the first weekend. Now, for those homes that don't sell, they sit on the market, and some, because there are homes in the market right now that sellers are trying to sell that, frankly, they're overpriced or underconditioned. They're just really going to be difficult to sell. Those are the homes that are going to sit and go out to that tail way out there on the end. That's what's drawing that average out to 35, and some reports 44 days on market. Now, 35 to 44 is still under this curve over here, but for those that are going out far, far a year plus, they came on the market maybe last year during this Q3, Q4, and they've been sitting out there overpriced. Buyers have rejected them because of condition, location, some other feature, and at this point there is really no alternative other than a price adjustment. Now, what is relevant about this? This is normal. This is what it was like back in 2018 and before. We've just forgotten about so much of this in the last 5 years as we've been dealing with a few other major shakeups in life. Now, what is interesting to note, and this is the second point, is homes are selling at asking price. I looked at the homes that have sold in the last 30 days. And the average list price for the home that has sold, $632,344. For the homes that have sold, they have sold at an average price of $633,000 and $352. That is almost a $1,000 difference between the list price and the selling price, slightly higher. In fact, it's 0.15% higher. So what does that tell me? It tells it at that average price of $632,000, those sellers can expect asking price. Now, for buyers, you should expect to pay asking price for most reasonable homes. That said, both seller and buyer, you need to be aware that that price has to be fair and reasonable and supported by market numbers, not just simply a number pulled out of the sky because you thought your neighbor sold it last spring for $40,000 over asking price, and then you're going to get the same this year. That's not rational. Now, sellers, you're going to get asking price. Buyers, you're going to get a good price as long as those prices are good. That's why you want to talk to a specialist like me, someone who can look at the numbers and go, this asking price looks good, this one's unreasonable, and this one's a good opportunity. Now, that's what I'm here for, is to help you. I'll tell you next week about listing appointment when I went on the story because I'm going late here. I'll talk about that later, but I just want you to think this week, wrapping up July, we've hit this crest of the year. It is a normal pattern that we've seen from 5 years ago. The last 4 years have been rocky, but 5 years and before, this is normal, this is typical. I want to reassure you, at least for the real estate market, we appear to be in that normal highway lanes of travel. All right, that's it, 8.5 minutes. Have a wonderful week all. We'll see you next Monday.